The politics of the 18th century were based in military power. The politics of the 19th century were based in colonial power. The politics of the 20th century were based on the power of military alliances. But what are the politics of the 21st century based on? Let's dive in and find out. While the 20th century was defined by World Wars I and II, followed by the Cold War, the 21st century we now find ourselves in has shown to play by new international rules. With a fallen Soviet Union, a struggling European Union, an America in decline, and an unsteadily rising China, along with significant quality of life increases across the world's historically poorer nations, we have entered a new time period of global politics. While nothing's set in stone, it seems that the days of huge international military alliance posturing, world wars, and cold wars have largely passed, replaced with a modern era driven primarily by the technology that keeps everyone on our planet connected. But that doesn't mean we've reached a utopia by any means, and it only takes one look back at 2020 to realize that. International geopolitics spins on, as it always has. But with the dawn of social media, average people have more power and influence than ever before. Social movements and popular protests can form in an instant. Everything can be videotaped or recorded anywhere, at any time, by anyone. The governments have control, but the people have more power than ever before. Even non-democratic governments are subject to support from the people. Just consider the countless regimes that have fallen after losing popular support. So what impact does this have on us? What impact does this have on global politics? Well, to put it simply, soft power has become the currency of the realm. For the most part, it's no longer feasible to gain international influence through war. Countries and terrorists still try this from time to time, but they quickly learn that when you're the aggressor, your neighbors won't like you, and they'll try to punish you for it. And in this interconnected age, every country is virtually neighbors with every other country. In a world where weapons have incalculable destructive power, it no longer makes sense to race for the most damage, because that will only result in the whole world being destroyed, including the people who launched the first attack. The Cold War met this challenge by establishing numerous proxy wars around the world. But these days, that is no longer viable. Historically, poor countries are now making great strides, backed by the UN, not to mention the strong international backlash that befalls such aggressors now. And as the people get more power and more access to information, wars are becoming less popular domestically, especially among the younger generations who tend to see themselves as more international and connected due to our now global online world. So what's left? Soft power. Soft power is cultural capital. It's the influence countries have on each other through purely cultural exports, such as media, games, celebrities, music, food, values, and other aspects of daily life. When the people have more power, more access to information, and more interconnectedness with others, the natural result is a convergence of culture where the best aspects win out. This comes along with globalization, and I'd argue it's where countries get most of their power these days. The country that exports the most genuinely good culture sets the narrative and the values for the world. The country that contributes the most to global culture is safe because no one would support attacking them. The country that brings us our favorite foods, shows, and ideas gets to set global policy as a respected leader with natural influence over people who don't even live there. But ironically, every country on Earth seems to be absolutely failing at soft power these days. It seems as though none see the true value yet, or none are willing to capitalize on it. A lot of problems have to do with politics. Globalization, social liberalization, and the new international interconnectedness of everything tends to make people not used to feeling uncomfortable. They then lash out politically as voters or politicians to put strict limits on immigration, to regulate the internet, propagandize at home, threaten countries abroad, build up their military presence, hack their adversaries, abandon their allies, start trade wars, impose tariffs, increase their own authoritarian power, and crack down on local liberal or democratic movements, all while stoking racism and xenophobia. And what do they get for all this? a sharp decline in global popularity that only weakens our country and makes it even less relevant than before. International politics is not about strength. It's a social game, about who has goodwill from the rest of the world. No matter what country you're from, the rest of the world outnumbers you. The rest of the world has a bigger economy than you. The rest of the world has more military power and financial resources and brilliant creative people than you. It's not even about protecting your own nation anymore. That ship sailed long ago. If your tax dollars go to support a university in another country today, that's not a waste of money. It's an investment in the future of your own country. The people of the second country will like you more, and once they have the education you've provided, they'll become scientists and doctors who push forward the whole world's technology in a way that comes back to help you. We no longer live in a world of individual countries that have to compete over limited resources. We now live in a forever interconnected world of people who would all be better off working together to push technology forward. And it's time we recognize that, hopefully sooner rather than later. Thanks for watching the video. I want to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments below if you learned something new, and I hope to see you again next time.